Looking for the finest video out there on how to create unicorn horns? Well, you're in the right place. Today on Historical Recreations, I will show you how to create one of these. An extremely realistic, very, very, very lightweight, and easy to create unicorn cosplay prop. Now, for those who are just tuning into Historical Recreations, I have a question for you. Do you believe that unicorns exist? Well, here at Historical Recreations, we know that they do. Join me. And for today's material lineup for creating your unicorn horn from left to right, today we have some Amos air-dried clay. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, where am I getting this product? Well, this product is available on Amazon. It is made in Korea and it is a fantastic product. Any color will work because you can paint over it. You'll also be needing one of these, a hairband. Please note that the size of this is more than an inch wide. It is very comfortable, sits on my head, and feels good. So I got this at a local dollar store. Also, today's color lineup today will be using a titanium white number 901 and a black number 999. Both of them are acrylic. You'll be needing a large brush. Here is a size 12 and the Xinhua brand, and also be using my handy dandy glue gun because we'll be creating the attachment for the hairband. I'll be using some soft, regular cardboard from a box. Now, the reason why I'm using cardboard and not a wire is for safety measures, and I'll be explaining that in the video. You'll also be needing something to cut the cardboard with, and one of the most important thing today, the bodybuilding material of the unicorn horn, aluminum foil. Everything else is in the tutorial. And for our first part of our project today, we are going to be cutting 2 strips out of our cardboard. You can use any cardboard you want. This is just from a, I think it was a soda can box, but just using some cardboard from your local boxes that you have, we're just going to create a inner core base. As you can see, I am just cutting 2 strips out here, and that is enough to create a main shaft core of your product. Now, if you wanted to add 2 or 3 of these together, you can be certainly a superstar. I think I'll make you 3 of them today. See how nice and soft this is? If I think, why don't you use something stiffer? Now, like I mentioned in the early part of my video, safety first, and that is all you need to create a support right there. So what we're going to do, we're going to stack the 3 of these together, we're going to get our hot glue gun, and we're going to create a main core. Let's do that right now. Okay, our hot glue is all warmed up. Always be careful with hot glue guns. They are hot, okay? And with this, we're going to just put a layer, a very quick layer, 1 line, boom, right to the end, and put the other piece of cardboard on top of this. After laying them on top of each other here and hot gluing them, they would look just like this. You have a really cool and nice core. All right, with that being said, you know where we're going to go with this. We're going to glue it on there. Let's do that right now. So let's find the center here and mount up our hot glue gun. And now I bought a nice wide hairband over here because it is essential that it sits comfortably on my head. And we're just going to put that on. Look at this. It's so amazing. It's just takes over and blow on that a little bit and let that dry. I'm also going to just add a little bit of support here. As you can see, I am creating a support with my hot glue gun right down. Look at this. Adding support now to the main core using my hot glue gun, because glue now it becomes, and once that's completely dried, it will look like this. Check this out. Isn't this great? All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to start using the aluminum foil and start building our horn. Let's do it. Just by taking a piece of aluminum foil, we want to just crumple it up and leave a little bit of air in there, okay? And what this is going to do is it's going to create a soft platform to allow us to build upon, okay? So let's start off with the first tier, semi-large, okay? Now you've got to remember where this is here, this is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller till you get to the tip. So whatever size you start off with, just know it's going to grade down to the smallest tip, okay? So let's bend this up and around. Now where this stops, okay, over here, because we want a groove in there, if you start here and you want to add, you're going to take your hot glue gun and you're going to hot glue that aluminum foil continuously. Put some more aluminum foil, make another ring. Put some more aluminum foil, make another ring. Put more aluminum foil, make another ring. Hot glue, hot glue, hot glue, hot glue. So let me demonstrate how this works. Also taking a moment out to twist the aluminum foil so it's creating the shape of the horn. If you've ever seen a narwhal whale tusk, it looks like that too. So that creates a good platform. Now what we want to do is we want to add this on here to create the next loop around. Alright, see what we're doing there? Alright, there it is. And the next one, there it is. Look at that, isn't that great? And the next one, and there it is. And these are getting smaller as they're going up. So we want to hot glue those two pieces together. So let's do that with our handy dandy glue gun. That came right out. There we go, and let that dry. Okay, next one, let's make another piece, and then we're going to hot glue it on here. Make this as small as possible, because this is the finishing piece. Okay, put my hot glue on here. Such an easy project, and this is so great. You can make so many of these. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wrap it around, finish this out. Takes but a moment. Look at that. Look at that. So nice. Look at that. Unicorn horn has been created. And make sure that the largest is down here and the smallest is up there. I'm going to shape that into play. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more aluminum foil to that and make a tip. Once this horn is dried, I want you to take your glue gun and inject some hot glue into some of these crevices. Stick it together. So harden up the horn by just injecting any space that's in there, and don't be afraid to use your hot glue gun. Don't be afraid to, just put it in there. That's what it's all about. That's what prop making is all about. Using your imagination and creating something, So look at this. Just inject and do a good job. And once you have that, we'll let that harden, and then we'll go on to the next step. As I mentioned earlier, it does not matter what color you're going to use because no one's going to see it because it's going to be underneath paint. So let's take out some of our air dried clay here. I love working with this stuff. It is lightweight. It is a wonderful, wonderful product, this Amos here. Lightweight, it sticks to anything, it refuses to anything. So with that in mind, we want to press out some area and start layering up around and on top of our horn. We can just start layering it up on top of there, and we're going to start covering. As you can see, I'm just using the wraparound method. Okay, and it's very easy to just pull it into place. And once you got the whole entire horn covered, you can start sculpting it. You can actually start emphasizing these ridges and the spiral that took only but a moment. Once you get this completely coated, now you can start the sculpting process. As you can see, there are grooves in here. We're going to use some tools today. These are just some children's sculpting tools, and we're going to move that clay around and we're going to follow the groove pattern all the way through. So let's now start sculpting. Also make sure you put some lines in there because unicorn horns have lines, and I'm going to demonstrate how. And as you can see, I had made it into a twist. Now I want to show you something very special about using this motion when you are creating this type of product. If you put it in the groove and pull down, you're going to press that clay in the center and just push the clay up above here, and what we're doing is we're creating more of a mound, a center mound on both sides, and that's a very, very easy way to manipulate the clay where you want it. Okay, now with that in motion, I'd also suggest taking a plastic instrument and increasing the grooves now in your horn. Okay, let's do that to all of it and go around and increase those grooves. And once we finish with that, don't worry about any aluminum foil showing, like that's okay. I also want to point out that I added a little extra clay at the top and twisted it to a point. Do you see what I did over here? Twisty, twisty, twisty. And once we get there, the last thing we want to do is we want to add some lines in here. Okay, so now using my instrument again, we're going to start creating some lines like this. Using the same pattern as the spiral of the clay, we want to add some lines now all the way around. These lines are the growth lines that are in the horns, okay? And just follow from the top, pull down, okay? There, once you get your grooves in your horn, let this dry for 24 hours. And once your unicorn horn is dried after 24 hours, it should be like this, solid. This came out incredible. And we're going to be painting the band solid black over here, which is a 999 black acrylic. And we'll also be using a titanium white number 901. And we're going to be painting the horn today. So let's do that now. Right in there, and let's start painting this little guy down. You may need several coats depending on what color of clay you've used. Since I have used a red, I believe this is going to take about 2 coats. And don't be afraid to slather that paint on there. Just layer it on there until the color completely goes away. Wow, that came out absolutely incredible. Now, with this being the way it is, if you like it just the way it is finished. It is done. Put it on your head and go out and have a good cosplay. But if you're like me, and as you know at Historical Recreations, we always go the extra mile. We want to create this to look like it is not, brand new type of unicorn horn, but we want to age it to look like bone. And in the second part of this video, I'm going to show you the correct paints to put on this and how to properly age this to make it look as if it is an ancient unicorn's horn. So today I will show you the lineups of paint. Let's go. For those of you who have already seen my deer antler tutorial, you probably already know the palette that I'm using. Today I'm using a burnt umber number 925 acrylic and number 999 alpha black acrylic, a pastel sands. This is a little bit hard to find, but you can find this online. It is a 971. If not, you can always mix this up. A gold ochre, number 609. Also acrylics. A little container of water over here. My palette, which is just a recycled styrofoam dish. And a large brush, number 18, from the Sinjan watercolor collection. So let's now put our aging on our unicorn horn. Absolutely love this palette. Today we're going to be using our first color today is the pastel sands. We want to create a bit of a slurry here and dilute that probably to about 1 to 2 and apply that on the unicorn horn. Now, so you can see what I'm doing over here. I'm just allowing the water to take control. This is going to give this more of a natural bone look, is what we would like to start off with. And let the water go to about midsection. Now, when you start getting up here, don't put the color in there because that is the the most important part of the unicorn horn. It's going to be the most cleanest and most brightest part of the horn. See, as we go down, we want to create this a little bit darker. So now you can apply more heavier and less water to age the bone. Okay, this is the same technique that I used on the deer antler. Okay, midsection is darker and the base is the darkest. So I'm going to be applying a lot more paint on here directly. Now I also have sandy blonde hair. I have a natural blonde color to my hair. You can paint our U-band over here the same color as your hair so it blends in. Look at how awesome this is coming out. Look at that. And let's let this dry for a bit of a moment. Or you can put a hair dryer on this and instantly dry it. Okay, just a moment ago I put a hair dryer on that and dried that down. Let's go in for a second coat of the pastel sands. Okay, let's put some more on there. Let me age this bone down in layers. Took but a moment to dry with the hair dryer. So now let's go in with, don't even clean your brush, go into your ochre. Okay, we're going to mix a little bit of ochre and our sands together, and we're going to dilute this down to a 1:2 ratio, and we're only going to do the lower areas of our horn. Get it into the grooves of the... Instantly this is becoming bone. It looks just so aged. We're going now to mix a little bit of the burnt umber into our already yellow mixture that we had done. Let's now make a slurry about 1:1 here. A little bit of, and this is the most aged part of the bone. So we are going down here closest to the base. We want this to be the most dirtiest and closest to the skull, making sure that we get that color right in the grooves here. Just enough information to let it know that it's from an animal or it has been on the skull for a long time. That is just enough information we need. That a little bit, I'll put a little bit more up there. Yeah, I really want to get this down here. The most aged part is the base. You can see now we've gone from, what is it, darkest to lightest. And just put a couple spots around. Okay, now let's... want to talk about making a very, very awesome prop over here. I'm not even going to clean our brush. This is the final stage of our process here. This is what's going to make it come alive. We're going to use the black. We're going to create a very large slurry over here, 1:3, and we are going to apply. This has already been dried with the hair dryer. We're going to now age this down. The whole entire thing. You want to apply that dirty water on there, this slurry as I call it, the slurry of information, and get that all over your unicorn horn. This is what's going to bring it to life. This is the final bit of the process. A tip over here, get that the least. If you need to, wipe it off. Okay, see how all the color information goes into the grooves? Very important. You want that right in there. Don't be afraid to slap it on, especially around the base. Okay. Pretty in the groove on there. So we can now see the spirals come to life. Yeah, there it is. All right. And with that being said, let's hair dry this down and see what it looks like. And here it is, our final fruits of our labor, this beautiful unicorn horn for cosplay, or any type of costume you wish to employ this on. It is a very easy to make prop, one that I'm very proud of. As always, gothically yours, Professor M.